Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got the Devil card. This is a powerful card, powerful creative card. This is someone who is ready to climb the mountain, you know. This is somebody who is driven. This is somebody with endurance. This is a situation in your life right now that is calling for endurance. It's saying this is a mountain. This is a climb. It's not an elevator ride, okay? You have to know what motivates you. And if you're not motivated, if you're not connected with the thing that makes you want to do it, you're not going to get very far up the mountain, right? This is a creative drive. What is driving the car? This is the engine of the car, right? It's what is basically powering us to climb up the mountain, okay? The engine, the Devil card, doesn't care where we're going, doesn't care what mountain we're climbing or why, doesn't care what ladder we're climbing or what building it's up against. Okay, that's up to us. We've got to, through with Spirit guiding us, you know, that's our choice. This is the engine of the car, but it's not the one driving the car. Okay, a very powerful energy here. Let's put it into some context. Okay, I feel like you're somebody who is not really giving up. I feel like you got your head down and you are powering forward. Okay. We've got the 8 of Cups crossing you this week, but we have a Knight of Wands underneath. You got the 2 of Swords behind you, a 6 of Wands above you, and the 10 of Cups in front of you. Very good. So right now you're at that part of the path where it's just like, you're kind of like, this sucks, you know? And we have to push through this 8. We have to push through this wall of sort of, you know, emotional resistance. It's kind of, this is the sucky part of the path where you're climbing the mountain and you don't feel that the rewards are there. The rewards from the beginning, you know, when we start something, Cardinal Fire, right? This is the Knight of Wands. When we start it, it feels good. The first part, let's say you're hiking up to a mountain. I used to hike up to the top of Mission Peak in the Fremont area, Alameda County, California, anyway. And when you first start, you're like, yeah, this is good. It feels nice. Like my muscles are getting warm. I got my friends with me. I got my protein bars in my backpack, and everything feels fun. Everything feels like an adventure, right? And then, you know, halfway through the day, you should have seen me. I was like dying. I was like, I hate this. Like, who's the one that convinced me to come do this hike? I don't know, you know? And this is that part. Of course, when we get to the top, and it's beautiful and blissful and glorious, and it's all paying off, it's worth it. The view from the top is worth the agony of the climb here. Okay, and that's the 8 of Cups that we see. Another Capricorn card, the Knight of Pentacles. You might want to watch the Capricorn reading. Here's a 10 of Wands. There is your Leo power card. That is the Knight, or the Prince of Wands. And the Prince of Wands is a sustained effort. This is what you need to make it through the 8 of Cups. This is what you need to make it through this. This is in the position of the difficulty. We really have to summon that energy from deep within us to keep going, because it's not the fun part anymore. It's not that fun, happy, energized beginning, right? And then we've got the Ace. There's the summit. To me, the Ace represents the summit of the mountain. right? Where you're sort of standing on top of the hill with your sword raised high in the sky and proclaiming, like, you know, that your victory in a way. Really significant. A lot of energy, a lot of powerful fire cards here. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here with Jimbo the Lizard King right there on top. I can do anything except for look at that card until the end of the reading, okay? It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see the major arcana energies. It's the Devil card, climbing the mountain. Why are you climbing the mountain? What is the mountain and why are you climbing it? Okay? And I think that in order for you to summon your true self power card energy, the Prince of Wands, that represents the Leo energy in action, you have to know what is motivating you. Why are you here? If you understand the why, the how is going to be pretty well tolerated. It's going to suck, but you're going to make it through to the glory of the Ten of Cups by pushing through this Eight of Cups. Okay? When you get to the summit of the mountain, all of this agony will have been worth it. But you're not going to get through this if we don't understand why we're doing it, because you get an Eight of Cups. To anybody, the Eight of Cups is like, ooh, this feels terrible. I don't want to do it anymore. You know, why would you continue to do it? You're hungry, your muscles are sore, you're fatigued, you got that lactic acid build up. You know you're going to be sore tomorrow already, and it's just like you're only halfway there, and your mind is going to start making up a lot of reasons why you should go back down the hill. Why you should just, like, you know, call somebody, have them pick you up, you know. This is not really fun. It's kind of like, it's the moment where we question, we're just like, this feels terrible. Why am I doing this? And if this why isn't strong enough, we're not going to be able to keep going. We're not going to have any way to goad ourselves forward. Okay. Because right now it feels like the goat is kind of hitting the wall. Yeah, and the only thing that's going to get us through the wall is our willpower. That comes from that sense of purpose, comes from us being motivated. We have a reason why we're doing this, so we can get ourselves fired up again. We can light that flame. We can light that pilot light again, because it feels like it's kind of starting to flicker and fade as we start to kind of get through this kind of difficult middle portion of the path. And indeed, I feel that it's usually right towards the end of the path where we start to feel like this, because then you have that you have that breakthrough, you have that surge of energy, and then it's like the home stretch, you know. And then we're energized and we get to the glory, and it's just like we're almost just we're swelling with like adrenaline and motivation. Okay. And so we're trying to bring that out of ourselves by connecting with a sense of purpose. We've got one major arcana energy, the Capricorn energy. We got fire, 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 water, water, air and air, and the earth. A little bit more earth. Same kind of earth as the Capricorn Devil card, right? It's the same thing. It's the Knight of Pentacles. It's still that Capricorn cardinal earth energy. It's kind of like, again, connecting with the reasons why, the motivation. Okay, so the Two of Swords, anyway, looking at the past, we're kind of wondering, why did I agree to this? Like, why did I say yes? Why am I doing this on a Sunday morning or whatever day it is? You know, it's we don't always remember like what those deeper feelings are that brought us here. That, like, I know why I chose it. Obviously, I wanted to climb the mountain, and my friends said it would be a good idea, and it was right after my liver transplant, and I felt like, oh, this would be a good way to get back in shape, and it would be a nice, easy walk up the hill, and I'll feel good. Sure, it'll be challenging, but, I didn't realize how challenging I was going to find it. So connecting with that moment where we made the decision, I think, is okay. We need to do that. That day where I said yes to this, but why did I say yes? Why did I agree to it? And when we look at this card, we see the little crescent moon up at the top, right up there. And that is the influence of spirit in our lives. To me, that feels like the intuition that's coming through, and it's like there's a reason why there's a reason why you agreed to this. Whether you're doing something physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, or creative, it doesn't matter. You could be literally trying to climb a mountain. You could be literally, trying to start a business or run the business or get through a physical fitness kind of regimen. Maybe you have those kind of physical or financial goals, and we're feeling that icky middle, right? And we're just like, why? Let's go back. Let's trace this back to where it all began. And that moment where I said yes to this. What motivated me to say yes? Was I thinking I make a quick buck real easy? Was I thinking, I'm going to get all the glory, right? Was I thinking that it was going to be easy? What was motivating me back here at the time? And it may be different motivation for you in the present moment, but first things first, let's remember the day we started. If somebody asked you, do you want to do this? I feel like you said, yeah, let's do it. Why were we so eager? Did we not think it through? Did we not realize it was going to be so challenging? Did we think, this is just going to be a way for me to show off? Was it some kind of because the devil energy, we don't know. The devil energy could be a lot of things. It could be that creative drive that we just I feel like a sense of purpose here, and I feel like this is something that I need to do. This is part of who I am, and I've got to push myself through. This is coming from spirit. Or is the devil energy saying, well, you know what? I was just greedy for the money. I was just greedy for the results. I was tempted by the allure of the bliss of the Ten of Cups, that I saw in the future. Or was I motivated just because I want to kick somebody's butt and I want to win, and I want to just prove to everybody that I can do it, And it's very possible that there's a combination of these, and I think that's the key. I think there needs to be a combination of these energies, right? There needs to be that larger reason. It's that creative drive. This is something that Spirit has brought to you and given you the opportunity to do this. And you have to say, okay, I'm creating something here. I also kind of just want that 10 of Cups, and I also kind of just want to kick some butt. It's okay to have that pleasure drive and that aggressive drive, but they have to be subordinate to the kind of overarching creative drive. Okay, that bigger picture drive, right? That we're doing something that is worthwhile on a kind of spiritual level. It's okay that human side of us just wants to wants the pleasure of the win and wants the hard work and the sort of competition of the work, right? It's okay to want those things too. And that's the issue with the devil card, because we always feel like my motivations have to be pure. I have to want this just because it's going to make the world a better place. Well, if it doesn't feel good to you personally too, if we're not getting something out of it, we're not going to be able to make it through when stuff gets really, really rough. There's going to be nothing that's going to push us through the Eight of Cups. Sometimes we get into this Eight of Cups mode, and the only thing that's going to push us through is to think about how sweet the hot meal is going to taste after you're done. Think about how blissful you're going to be when you're at the top of the mountain. Whatever you got to do to get the goat up and running again. Okay, if you got to dangle the carrot in front of it, then that's what you do. Okay, and so there's no need. I don't think it's very practical in a human reality, right? To have those kinds of absolutely pure motivations. I'm motivated by this sort of altruistic energy only. I only am doing this in service to the universe, right? And I think I think we need to be able to say that, but we can also admit that I also want some joy out of it. I also am going to have fun doing it in whatever fashion this is, that there's going to be some sort of, let's call it a little bit of ego gratification too, right? Because I think those three things together are working in harmony. Otherwise, the ego is going to be miserable in an Eight of Cups But the spirit in us is going to say, well, I'm doing this for the service of humanity, and so I'm going to have to just drag the ego through. And the ego will revolt every time, okay? And I don't think we'd make it through this. So if we have to say, look, ego, you can have some carrots, you can have the bliss. This is going to be worth it. You're going to enjoy this when we get through this. We can work together, right? We have to be in harmony with ourselves and not out of alignment with ourselves and fighting internally, because then we're not going to be able to get through the rough parts of life. Yeah. So I feel like part of the swords cards here is us trying to just say, look, I've got a bigger purpose here. This is something I'm doing for my family. This is a creative thing that I'm giving to the world. This is my destiny. This is something that goes beyond ego, right? That's the Ace of Swords. But here we have the Six of Wands, which is a victory after a competition. So it's kind of like this is one thing that's going to be goading us forward too. Inside this bigger picture, larger purpose outside of ego kind of thing, inside of that there is also the fact that you're going to win, right? That getting through this and succeeding at whatever you're doing, right, is a win. It's in competition, maybe even only with ourselves, right? This is a card of harmony and beauty. This is a card of teamwork. It's kind of like our body, our heart, and our mind got to work together, right? With our spirit, with our soul, everything's got to be functioning as a team. If this were a Five of Wands, I would say you're like at war with yourself. There's no way that you're going to get through this challenge, because we're a house divided against ourselves, right? You're not. You are unified. You have this cooperation with yourself, okay? And you understand the Knight of Wands down here at the bottom. Inside, this is beneath the surface. This was that rush of enthusiasm when you first began, okay? And I kind of feel like we're trying to muster that up again. This is really an energy that doesn't think before they act. It just sort of goes with it. It's just kind of like sometimes we just have to rally and say yes and be whisked away by the energy. The longer we sit and think, the longer we sit and kind of feel how we feel. In other words, I think one way to look at it is once we stop moving, we're really going to feel the stiffness and the soreness. If you keep moving, it's not going to feel so bad, right? It's once you stop and sit down. That's why they say on Mount Everest, don't sit down. Don't sit down till you get to the next base camp. Because if you sit down, chances are you're not going to get up again. And that's a pretty like melancholy, like, piece of advice, right? But I think it's true. I think if we wallow in this, if we sink into this feeling, then we're going to end up giving up. So in some ways, the Knight of Wands has to keep moving, okay? And sometimes we can flip a switch inside of us and we can just get up and we can go. Without deciding to, without thinking about it, without feeling it, we can just get up and do it. There are times where I know I should exercise, right? Or ride the recumbent bicycle. And, it's... The longer I sit on the couch and think about doing it, the less likely I am to do it. But if the impulse comes to me, if the feeling or the thought comes to me, recumbent bike, just get up and do it before I have a chance to think about it or feel myself. Or to say, oh, well, you know what, my back kind of hurts. Then before I know it, I'm just on the bike, I'm doing it, it's done, whatever. And then you feel good that you got it done. Okay? So that's part of it too. And of course, the allure of the Ten of Cups in the future position. This is in the near future. Okay? This is like tomorrow's energy. I feel like you're very, very close to the goal here. Okay? By the way, I'm drinking corn silk tea today. It's still lukewarm. Not too bad. The Ten of Cups is the dream come true. The bliss. This is feeling like my dream is just draining away, like I see it just melting before my eyes, disintegrating before my eyes, right? This is the dream's alive. The dream is real. The dream is here. And, I think that this is motivating you. This is fulfillment and satisfaction on every plane of being. This is a physical, financial win. This is a mental, emotional satisfaction and a spiritual, creative abundance. Okay? That is crowned by a significant event. Like there's literally like a finish line that you have to cross. There's literally like some kind of established marker where it's like once you get there, that's the win for you. Okay, so I don't know if you've got like a dollar amount or you've got like a particular geographical location, and once you get there, that's the win. Or if it literally is something that it's like once you finish writing the book and you got the manuscript, like you got the book in your hand, that's the win. Yeah. So there is some kind of identifiable finish line here, okay? And I think keeping that in your sights right now and getting desirous of that, getting drawn, getting attracted to that is really going to be motivating to you as well. This is in your very near future. If you keep going, you will succeed, okay? You will succeed. Now, the path of the serpent, we start with the Knight of Pentacles. Like I said, this is a Capricorn energy. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. I'm feeling with this card is that when we started this thing, we didn't quite know what the path would be like. Because I feel like this card's looking at the mountain, can't really see the summit, don't really know how far up it is. Okay? I kind of feel like we thought it was going to be a little bit easier than how we're experiencing it now. It's almost like we're here in this situation where like nobody told me it was going to be this challenging. Nobody told me that I'd have to go through this kind of agony with that Eight of Cups. But I feel like this is also a card that says we know what winning will feel like. We have to make sure that we have that clearly defined goal. We have to make sure that we know and we establish within ourselves that vision of the final picture. What does it look like to win this? Because this doesn't show us the details. This shows us how it's going to feel. Oh, so good, right? Bliss, right? Dream come true bliss, but how do we know when we get here? I think the Knight of Pentacles is saying we have to figure that out. We have to ask the question, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing down the road? What is the vision that I have of success? What's my 10 of Pentacles, right? So that when I get there, I'll know. And then I can let go of all of this and I can celebrate and I can feel good that I have the win. So I think it's very important that you know what how you're going to identify the win when you get there. How you're going to identify the summit. Because the summit of the mountain is just a peak. It's just a high point on the mountain. I feel like once you get to the summit of the mountain, you're going to look around and you're going to see a lot of other mountains and a lot of other summits. So it's kind of like we better know what our goals are. Like really define the goals pretty detailedly. So that when we get there, we're not sort of deflated or disappointed or dejected, right? Because we see that there are a lot of mountains up here. It's a whole mountain range, right? And so I think it's very important that we get those goals very clearly defined, okay? And then the 10 of Wands in the position of the environment, you got to ask people around you for help. Spirit's saying that you're someone that doesn't like to ask for help. Okay, that it feels a little bit like weakness when we have to rely on other people in any kind of way. Maybe you're someone who's been through a codependent situation or relationship with somebody and it's kind of like never again. And so we're willing to suffer and drag ourselves through the mud to do it by ourselves when maybe we could make the burden a little bit easier if we were to reach out or reach for the hand that's reaching out to you. Okay? So be willing to accept help here. Yeah. And ask for it if we need to. Okay. We have a Prince of Wands in the position of the obstacle, and that is, of course, the sustained energy. It's very difficult to keep ourselves going at the same speed in the same direction from start to finish. There's a natural fluctuation in our energy levels. Right now, it feels like our energy level is a little low. Okay, we need to be able to do the different things we can do in order to get it back up to speed, right? But this is somebody that is not giving up. This is a perseverance. So this is saying even when we feel like we're out of gas, we're pushing forward. It's like the car's run out of gas. Well, I'm going to get back behind the car and I'm going to push the car, Or it's like if the plane runs out of gas, I'm going to get in the car. When the car runs out of gas, I'm going to take the bicycle. When the bicycle gets a flat tire, I'm going to walk. When my shoes have holes in them, I'm going to crawl on my hands and knees. Right, whatever it takes, right? We're going to keep getting. It's slower, but we're still going. You see what I mean? So we're not letting that flame die out. And this might literally be that we're crawling into the finish line on our hands and knees. But once we get there, we are transcending. Okay, this is clarity. This is the summit of Mount Everest where you're euphoric. You see, I mean, you look up here, you're basically touching outer space. The clouds are below you. The mountain peaks are below you. You're at the highest point of life. And I feel like it is going to be a euphoria for you. I feel like this is the realization of that purpose. When you get here and you feel this, you're going to understand what it was all for and why you dragged yourself through this. It's going to all be worth it. Okay. Now, mystery card. What do we got? What do we have for the mystery card? I want something significant, like a 10 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles would be good. Empress card would be good. An Ace of Pentacles would be okay too. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. The King of Cups. The King of Cups is a fixed water energy. It's a Scorpio energy. To me, it feels like authenticity. To me, it feels like we are using the emotions to carry us forward, but we're not sinking down into them. We're learning how to ride that wave of our emotions, in order to sort of carry us through this. And so I wonder if that means that we are focusing on the win, focusing on how good it's going to feel to get in the hot bath afterwards, and that we're able to kind of ride that wave for a little while. If we are trying to attach ourselves, it's like a temporary identification. We're temporarily identifying ourselves with that idea that if I give up now, people are going to see me quit, and I can't let people see me quit, so I got to drag myself forward a little bit more. And we do that for as long as it works. When that stops working, right? Remember, we're going from the airplane to the bus, to the car, to the bicycle, to our shoes, to our hands and knees, right? And so when that stops working, then we might attach ourselves, identify ourselves with what it would feel like to let down our higher selves, right? To let down spirit and to, or disappoint our mom, or you know what I mean? And let that motivate you for a few more steps, whatever it takes. We can use these feelings. We don't have to just sink down, right? This is on the king is on a slab of concrete, right? We don't have to sink right down in those emotions and just like we're wearing concrete shoes, we're sleeping with the fishes, right? No. We can use this as a wave that we can ride the wave in order to motivate us a little bit more, whatever it takes, whatever we got to tell ourselves, whatever we have to feel and identify with to get us going a couple more steps. But again, it's a temporary identification, riding the waves, not sinking into them. Sinking into them is the same as giving up, quitting, and just, being done. So I like this, very interesting confirmation card to get. And in all of those identifications, you're remaining true to your essence here. Okay? It's okay to use the waves of emotion for something productive. Yeah. I think that's what we all should be trying to do. And it's not always easy, but if we can use that, it's a way really of sublimating our emotions. You have a negative feeling. Well, I'm going to use that to get fired up, take a couple extra steps today. It may not always be the best option, but when we're in dire straits, we can be, we're going to have to use these desperate measures to get to the goal here. Yeah. And I feel like this goal, there's some kind of healing aspect to this too. Yeah. Going from the 8 to the 10 feels like we are healing, recovering from this fully, just glorious. It's going to be so nice. It really is. We're going to do an extended reading as well. Okay, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Leo Tuesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch these readings at the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com or find me on Patreon. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.